Now, Barrister Mbeseha, a lot seems to be at play here when it comes to this development, bringing up something like the Sonara, but in La Republic after Sonara has been destroyed. Now, given the strategic shift of refining infrastructure from Sonara in Ambazonia to Kribi in French Cameroon, do you believe this is a deliberate act of economic colonization? And what does this action actually mean for Ambazonia's claim to self-determination? What does it mean for Ambazonia's claim to self-determination and control over its own national and natural resources? Barrister Mbeseha.
Well, if Ambazonians are fighting today and giving reasons for fighting, some people pretend not to understand. But just on Sonara alone, we should be reminded that it is because of Sonara that Ahijo abolished the so-called Federation in 1972. They abolished it to own the gas and oil that will be processed there. After the abolition in 1972, Sonara was constructed in 1975, 3 years into it. But talking about Sonara itself, what impact has Sonara got on Ambazonia for all the years that has existed since 1975? Almost zero impact economically. Because though it's based in Victoria, which is where we call Limpe, almost everybody who works there is a Betty, is a Francophone. I don't know how many Bakwere people who own the soil even work there. I don't know how many are able to even just clean us in that place. And so they live there. It's a luxurious thing. A lot of money came from it, but they never even benefited us. Within Sonora itself, they had a school, I think even up to high school, exclusively reserved for them. Nobody could go to that school but the children of people working in Sonora, which is a French school. And who are these people working in Sonora? They are all Francophones, majority Betty and Lulus. And so they had that privilege. When we talk about firefight every day in Victoria, the only firefighting department in Victoria was found in Sonora, but was not put there to save the population. It was saved there to protect the industry, what they have there. And so economically, it has meant nothing to us. But that's not why it should be taken away. The reason why they take it away is completely different. Sonora, we are told, was burnt in 2019. It was burnt down. Was it an accident? I doubt. It looked like it was a deliberate destruction. Because ordinarily, the Sonora or such a structure should have been covered by insurance. In the accident that occurs, the insurance was supposed to cover it. But curiously and strange enough, among all the strange things in the world, they told us that there was no insurance to cover up that structure, that industry. There was no insurance. It was burned down in 2019. And so it has remained like that. To me, the only reason why the thing was banned in 2019 was that they saw this war coming. The war that was the peak of the war. And they realized that they were not going to succeed. They were going to leave Ambazonia. And they thought that they should destroy it before they leave, which is common in war. And so they destroyed it deliberately because they knew that Ambazonia would come to take over. They rather leave a carcass of the structure than to leave it functional. And so they deliberately destroyed it. They have refused to rebuild it. They have had all estimates about it. But again, Sonora was not just Sonora. Sonora had byproducts of Sonora. Whatever thing they processed there. But before I even go to whatever thing they processed there, though that thing was standing there selling petrol and gas, the gas was more expensive in Victoria, where the Sonora is based, than in Douala. Why? Because they were sitting there, it was deemed to be in Limbe. To be in Douala. Its corporate headquarters is in Douala. If they never paid any taxes, they paid to Douala. So what was Victoria benefiting from it? Nothing. And again, I said it is not just the oil. I remember there are a lot of things that go along with Sonora. I remember Mr. Paul Biya himself, who came to Buea, I think in the early 1990s. I was there. And what did he tell us? He spoke there, he stood there at Bongo Square. I was there. You know, somebody who reported to me. I was there. He made his speech and talked about Sonora. he praised Sonora, but he made a promise. He told the world at large that what everything is processed in the form of oil, they are byproducts, what they call the waste. That waste is what they use in making what they call tarring roads. It is discovered as bitumen. Obeya announced that he was going to make a bitumen factory in Victoria, which bitumen factory would use the waste from the Sonora, get it out for tarring roads, what they call Koda. They use it in tarring roads around the country, around the world, but Victoria would have benefited from it first. 1990 till today, 1990 till today is about 35, 40 years. The bitumen factory has never been built, but was not forgotten. If you see what is going on in Caribbean right now, go read the master plan. The master plan includes building a bitumen factory to use the process, the waste from that their new refinery to produce the same thing Pobia promised to Ambazonia, to southern Cameroon, to Boya in 1990. In that very 1990 visit, of course, he told us about Sonora. He equally told us about the deep sea port. They moved the deep sea port from Victoria to Caribbean. They are now moving the Sonora, the oil refinery, from Victoria to Caribbean. Is it an accident? No. These people have realized that they are losing the war. And therefore, whatever thing is processed from Sonora is so strategic, they better take it away from the area at risk. They better take it away from Ambazonia. But let us not be disturbed, because there is nothing. Not because it's not valuable now. They will pay damages for those things. At the appropriate time, they are going to be held accountable. There is oil, there is gather they are exporting. They cannot hide everything. Figures that go out, they will know them. They can pretend to hide them. But the statistics reveal, the undiscovered statistics are there. They will have to pay for this economic murder of Ambazonia. And so again, Sonora was the cause of the abolition of the so-called federation, because they did not want southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, West Cameroon they called it at the time, to ever have any economic structure. They feared in the first place that if the federation remained, Ambazonia would own that oil. And so that is the story of Sonora. That is the trick behind it. And since the thing went, we were told by the former Director General, Mr. Asumo, he was called, he died, who made a public statement publicly that the accounts of oil coming from Sonora are best known only to the general manager and the president. The money was not even accounted in the budget of the country. They stole the money. Was this new? No, these are open thieves. They still would have even been ashamed. And so there's Sonora. There's a story behind Sonora. But the biggest story that we can tell about it as Ambazonia is it has moved to Caribbean. Did they do this thing in silence? No, they have done it publicly. But we have also our own brothers and people sitting up there, among them the Prime Minister, who came out boldly, publicly, to say that the story that they're building a refinery in Caribbean to replace Victoria is a lie. That was impossible. He said this in Boya, said it out publicly. We don't know what he says now. They still consider himself of any worth. When they went to lay the foundation stone publicly, before him, what did he say? How does he reconcile this? A man of that standing in age, a man of that standing in education, a man of that standing in international diplomacy should be ashamed of himself. And if I were him, and a reasonable person in this place would simply resign from that post they call Prime Minister for making a ridicule of him. He had better kept quiet than to come out and say that the story was a lie. It has turned out they have shamed him by putting it out there just a few weeks a few months after that, publicly, without any excuse. And so that's the story of Sonara. We hope and we pray that one day what will be compensated for that. Not for what they can go and be their own Sonara, their own refinery in Creamy if they want. But the truth is that they don't have any oil to refine there. Of all the oil fields that Cameroon has, I think 8 or 6 of them are all in Ambazonia. So what are they going to refine there? They have nothing there. If they have to refine, it will be oil stolen from Diam. We are already stealing. They pipe it through pipes under the ocean and take it to Caribbean. But that will stop. That will stop. The international piracy will stop. Over to you.
Thank you, Barrister Mbeseha, for that wonderful in-depth analysis.